The initial one, what I want it to be is a comprehensive review of the establishing ordinance for the Electric Utility Board. There's 6 sections with 30 subsections. It appears that there has been some question as to, the meaning of some of those and the efficacy of the ordinance in fostering relationship between the city and its board. And it's something that I think that everybody, yourself excluded, was wanting to see after budget, so that we can have a comprehensive review as policymakers for the city, leading up to further future meetings with the Electric Utility Board, and then devising a plan on how we are going to handle our electric utility and maybe the water and wastewater utilities as well.
Mr. Mayor, Tori had a great point. When was the meeting scheduled with the school board? Was that the 30th?
Oh, that is the 30th.
That might be, yeah, it might be the same night.
Okay.
So,
I thought
no, I think you're right.
let me poll council members for a date.
Okay.
Let us poll.
Okay.
I think the Monday before that might work. It would be the 23rd.
I'll be out of town.
You'll be out of town on Monday, the 23rd? Okay.
We'll poll unless you all want to try to sort through it. Let me poll. Probably be easier than trying to sort through a date here.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll poll it, but yeah, if Christie can call in on the 23rd, if she's comfortable with that, that one might work.
You can't do it?
You can't do the 23rd? Okay. But I don't want to get too far away from the budget without
No.
getting the discussion regarding the Electric Utility Board.
We may go for an abbreviated session on the 9th then.
Do we have a scheduled work session before the next council meeting?
The 16th?
Yeah.
No, would you like to do it before that?
Is it an hour an adequate time? I keep getting concerned that we're not able to rehash all these things in these 1-hour work sessions.
Yeah.
So I think this one needs to be a fully with no deadline work session, so it can absolutely be finished that day when we leave and we have direction from it.
Okay.
I'm in
We're
agreement
going
with
to just
Keith
poll
on
for a
that.
date then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, poll for a date, we'll notice the meeting, we'll go from there.
You know, before we talked about the Electric Utility Board, we had scheduled, right after budget, the discussion of Charter Ordinance 19. How's that coming?
I was hoping to get to that in October.
Why don't we put that in place of the EUB meeting, since really that was one that was promised back in April.
Yeah, but we've got a budget that we're going to have to work out with all of our utilities next year, and we're not going to have an election until
Well, you got
April
appointments.
2015.
Appointments coming up and things like that. So, I mean,
That-
you will have appointed everybody. Seems like we ought to be able to talk about how those appointments are made in the future quickly.
At this point, it's up to, I'm going to leave it in the hands of the council members as to whether or not they'd rather discuss the EUV first or the charter ordinance, which I want to do both, and in short order.
I don't have any problem discussing I will go on record to say I don't have any problem with the way appointments are being handled. So from my perspective, I will say the EUB is more important.
I would say the EUB first, only because that seems like it's more pressing. I'm not saying we should never talk about Charter Ordinance 19. I think that needs to be right on the heels of the EUB discussion, and we can't delay it, but I would pick EUB first.
It was promised by you, but back in April. So, I'm just wondering why EUB came up before this.
Because we've got an interactive relationship with one of our boards that has been less than optimal.
And I think the budget season kind of brought that into very stark focus. I wanted Charter Ordinance 19 to be addressed very soon after budget. I think we had talked about 90 days, within 90 days of having the budget resolved, that we would have the EUB, not the EUB, but the Charter Ordinance 19 discussion and have that done, before the end of October. That was our original goal. I still think we need to get that addressed. Now, if we're having issues with meeting for the work session for the EUB because of issues with the EUB, I think we should slide the Ordinance 19 discussion into that, because that does need to be taken apart and revisited. I'm kind of with Larry on that one. We've got some problems with that ordinance on multiple levels. Part of it's because we've written it wrong, and it hamstrings the city's ability to be able to do business, not just from the standpoint of quorum or anything like that, but just, we have no flexibility whatsoever in revisiting that ordinance as it currently stands. We need to repeal it and have a rewritten ordinance that will address those things, but not a charter ordinance. So that's kind of a ticking time bomb out there. It does need to be addressed. It needs to be addressed within the next 30 days, in my opinion.
Heath, would you rather talk about the charter ordinance or the electric utility board?
I'll be completely honest, I have no preference. I mean, they're both conversations that seems that the majority wants to have, whether we have one in October and one in September, or one in October and one in November, depending on our scheduling, they'll both get accomplished within a rather timely rate. So I have no preference, Mr. Mayor.
Well, that being the case, I'd prefer to go ahead and move forward with the electric utility board with the charter ordinance discussion coming on the heels of. So
Okay, so
please poll council members
for
about.
2 dates, September and October
Yes.
for
I agree.
EUB and then charter ordinance.
Charter ordinance.
Okay,
I think both need to be standalone work sessions with not in time.
that's what, yeah,
to
we'll
be
hold for 2
completed,
days.
yes.
Yeah, we can't be limited to an hour on either one of those discussions. They need to be taken in total.
Okay.
Doesn't appear that there's anything else. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Second?
Motion, second Harrison, that we adjourn. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We are adjourned.
Congratulations to you.
That's the plan, but it's very
Careful, these.